Hello, I'm Scott DiAgostino and welcome to Movies. Well, I thought we weren't having a show this week, so I only saw one movie over the weekend, and that movie was Machete Kills. I have to say, I got what I paid for when I saw Machete Kills. Of course, I paid with a gift card and didn't have to pay anything, so that should tell you how good the movie is. Machete Kills follows up the last one, and Danny Trejo reprises his role. Also showing up is Jessica Alba for about 4 minutes, and Michelle Rodriguez. In this one, Machete has to go to Mexico to kill a bomb maker before he blows up the White House. However, it turns out that the real bomb maker is Mel Gibson. To tell you how bad this movie is, Charlie Sheen gives one of the better performances as the president. I will say that Trejo's good, and Mel Gibson surprisingly good as the villain. And it's not as horrible as some other movies that I've seen, like The Lone Ranger, mainly because it's an hour shorter. But still, Machete Kills is a boring waste of time. Especially bad as Sofia Vergara. Oh, she was bad. She's probably going to get on the Razzie ballot for it. Grade C+. Now, it's Oscar season now, which means a lot of the best movies of the year will be coming out. In honor of this, here's my picks for the 10 best movies of the year so far. Number 10, Man of Steel. Now, a lot of people were angry at this movie because of the end, but then again, the same thing happened in Superman 2 and was actually handled better in this one. Not saying it's better than Superman 2, but people are being hypocrites. Henry Cavill and Amy Adams are great as Superman and Lois, and Michael Shannon is great as General Zod. Number 9 is The Way Back, an interesting little indie film starring Steve Carell in a role that you probably never imagined he'd be in. He plays the main character's stepdad, who is not a very nice person. It's a very relatable film and you should watch it. Also, Sam Rockwell is incredibly awesome. I hope he wins Best Supporting Actor. Number 8 is Woody Allen's Blue Jasmine. I talked about this movie a few weeks ago, but it's still really good. Andrew Dice Clay is surprisingly good, and Cate Blanchett is awesome as always. And Louis C.K. has fun with his 10 minutes of screen time. Number 7 is Star Trek Into Darkness. Now, this is another movie that divided people, but I really enjoyed it. A lot of people thought the fact that Khan was a white guy now was racist, but if you cast a brown guy as a guy blowing up buildings, it would be kind of racist too. And Benedict Cumberbatch is great as Khan. Number 6 is Don John, which I talked about last week. Joseph Gordon-Levitt's great as a Guido, and so Scarlett Johansson is his temporary love interest. It's not doing very well, but at least it didn't cost much. Try and track it down if you can. Okay. Number 5 is The World's End, the latest film from Edgar Wright, Simon Pegg, and Nick Frost. This is probably the best comedy of the year, although I wouldn't say it's the funniest. But you should definitely see it. It's a great satire of sci-fi movies like Invasion of the Body Snatchers. And it might be Simon Pegg's best performance. And it's definitely Nick Frost's best performance. It's not as good as Shaun of the Dead or Hot Fuzz, but those are pretty big boots to fill. Number 4 is Pacific Rim, a movie that not a lot of people saw, which is an absolute shame. A lot of people saw it, but not enough to do it to a massive budget. Guillermo del Toro is a great director, and he's never made a bad movie. And Charlie Hunnam's great in the lead role. And thank God he's not in 50 Shades of Grey anymore. Number 3 on my list is Spring Breakers. Now, people are still calling me insane for liking this movie, especially my parents. But I still think it's a great insult to party movies like Project X, and it features an electric performance from James Franco as Alien. Number 2 is another movie I talked about last week, Gravity, a movie that you should definitely see in 3D. I'm not a big Sandra Bullock fan, but she's really great in this film. You should definitely watch this, especially in 3D. Maybe in IMAX. I haven't seen it in IMAX, but I might this weekend with my dad. Might. But the best movie of the year so far is still Before Midnight, the third film in Richard Linklater's Before series. The series only continues to get better and better every 9 years. Maybe Before Afternoon, which will probably come out in 2022. It might make my top 100. Now that's all I have for this week. Next week I'll tell you my 10 worst movies of the year so far. And I was going to do it this week, but I have a copy of After Earth sitting on my counter and I need to watch it. I'm Scott D'Agostino, and I'll see you at the movies.